Yeah, it is. It's Football Friday. Good morning, early game crew. Wake up! Not a Gamecock Football Friday, but we have all types of football going on this weekend. I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Preston Thorne. She's Jen Jensen. Preston and I are actually matching, and I didn't realize it until I looked at the video screen here, and we're both rocking denim jackets.
Twinning.
Apparently.
We didn't coordinate this.
Sorry,
Say, I
Jen.
missed that memo.
Sorry, Jen. Gotta read your emails.
Apparently I do. I just went with the Harry Carey,
Check
look.
the spam.
Yeah, spam folder.
Jen Jensen here.
Check
I
the
didn't
spam
sound drunk
folder.
enough on that.
No, not nearly enough.
No, I got to work that up. I can't do that early enough in the day.
But don't worry, it's still early and it is Friday.
It is Friday. Yes, absolutely. I can still get into Harry Carey impersonation mode. But no, it did trip me out because it's funny because we've been sitting here talking for like the last 20 plus minutes.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it until I looked at the screen. And I was like, oh, buddy.
Well, last Friday we were Sad Boys and today we're Denim Boys.
That's right. Yeah. Denim jacket. This was actually part of a Halloween costume that I wore last year.
What was the costume?
So it was Mira and I were Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake from the 2001 VMA
denim.
Awards when they wore all
classic.
denim.
Yeah.
They both wore all denim, so I copped a denim jacket
Good look.
solely for the purpose of using it once and then returning it. And then that morning I put it on because I was going to wear it here, and I was like, I kind of got this on. I don't know, man.
fire.
I like it.
Denim jacket always goes well. Never out of style.
No, absolutely not. It's one of those I never thought it'd be for me.
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough, the chain was part of that too. And you know what? It's become part of the daily fit. So it's amazing how that works sometimes. But a lot of football going down this weekend. How many snaps did you watch of Broncos Raiders last night? I want to set that over under at 0.5.
I'll take the under.
Also under for me. I had zero interest in that game to begin with because I figured the Broncos would just kill them. And I don't know, but if you told me, Elijah, it was a 3-point game. The only way you could have told me I still wouldn't be interested in watching it is if it was like 10-7. And guess what? The final score was 10-7.
Yeah, that's a very difficult watch. I'm concerned about my guy Pete. I know he signed up for the resurgence. It's not working out the way we hoped it would. And I just worry about some of my elders when they get in these situations and not working. It's like, hey Pete, man, you are goated. You don't need to do this. And I kind of start worrying about when the elders I revere start putting themselves in situations like, Pete, I don't know if you need to do this because you're my guy.
Yeah. Is Pete Carroll like the NFL version of this year's Bill Belichick? To much less of an extent.
The losing part, maybe, but with none of the embarrassment.
None of the real embarrassment.
With none of the embarrassment. Because there's no shame in losing. It's just that we remember when. And, it's kind of quietly been on a decline for a while. And to see.
Can you win a game in the first quarter? No! Can you win the game in the second quarter? No! Can you win the game in the third quarter? No! Can you win the game in the fourth quarter?
No!
Yeah. In the Raiders locker room, they're like, hell no!
No, we cannot.
We can't do that either, Coach. You're asking way too much of us.
So shout out to my guy Pete. Stay strong, man. We're with you, but I don't know how long this is going to last.
Unfortunately, you can put a new coach on the Las Vegas Raiders, but you can't take the Las Vegas Raiders out of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Several organizations, that is true. So, yeah, did not watch much of it. But today is Football Friday, and I just found out there's a huge game tonight.
They're college football playoff eliminator, I could potentially say, because Tulane and Memphis are playing. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to take a peek at the
winner gets the LSU job?
Oh, maybe. I mean, I would not be opposed to that. I mean, John Summerall seems like the perfect fit for that, right? Like he seems like the shoe-in to be that. But would you really want John Summerall if Tulane's really fallen off the face of the earth? Now, Tulane had like their easy pathway into the American Conference Championship game until they went to UTSA, a team that is 2-3 in their league, and got their doors blown off on the road. So they have a bad loss. Memphis has a bad loss against UAB as a 22-point favorite that heavily benefited one Preston Thorne. So really, they both have one bad loss. They're going to play each other tonight. That game, I believe, is in Memphis, the Liberty Bowl, currently under some construction. But the loser of that game, I have to imagine, will not be participating in the American College or the American Conference Championship game. The winner of that conference title game going to be in the college football playoff. I don't think the Mountain West, UNLV could have represented the Mountain West, but they've fallen off a cliff the last couple weeks. James Madison in the Sun Belt, maybe, if they go on a tear and win that conference with only one loss, but in terms of resume, at least like Memphis and South Florida and Tulane have, some wins against high major teams that's going to help, specifically Memphis and South Florida, because South Florida did beat Florida on the road. Memphis did beat Arkansas at home, so South Florida has a significantly better win in that regard. That's why when I did my projection, I put South Florida, the college football playoff rankings committee, put Memphis. But if Memphis loses tonight, that's no mo. That's done. Absolutely finished.
So it's maybe not as much of an eliminate. The winner stays in.
Winner stays in.
Winner stays in, right?
Yep.
I guess that's eliminated by proxy, but more so because you don't guarantee yourself by winning. You don't guarantee yourself in, but you stay in the conversation.
Correct. Yeah. You stay in the conversation because really, if you're one of those teams in the American, whether it be Memphis, South Florida, North Texas, Tulane, you just make it to that conference title game, win it, and more than likely you're in.
Gotcha.
Because they all have good overall records. Like South Florida's got a really good overall record. They pummeled Boise State, which that win has not aged the most gracefully, but it hasn't aged incredibly poorly until maybe it was fine until they got pummeled by Fresno State. But it's not a year where I'm like, okay, yeah, a G5 representative is going to win a game. They could because they're all talented, and North Texas throws the ball all over the place. It's a hard offense to defend against. Navy, it runs that naval or that service academy offense, except they can throw the ball a little bit. Blake Horvath is a really good quarterback. Those are the teams and South Florida does run a unique kind of Tennessee-like offense, right? Because that's where Alex Golesh came from. So there are a couple teams that maybe if they're on their best behavior can hang in there, but really the American Conference is your G5 representative or the fifth conference represented in the college football playoffs.
So that's tonight, and obviously, maybe thankfully, the Gamecocks are not playing tomorrow.
You cannot lose if you do not play.
That's correct.
Yes.
So tomorrow we're locked in on Missouri, Texas A&M.
I would say I'd make myself pretty locked in on that. Get a head start on watching them play. Now, is it technically the most intriguing game on the schedule? I don't think so, but it is a intriguing game nonetheless. Now, this would have been a lot more intriguing if Bo Pribula never got hurt against Vanderbilt, because then I think Missouri is actually able to hang in there and compete a little bit. It's still only like a 6.5 point spread, even with Matt Zollers at quarterback.
That's disrespect to Texas A&M?
I think so a little bit. If I'm A&M, I'm taking it that way.
You should. No starting quarterback in a team that's been okay.
Yeah.
Well, while you've been soaring and you've been achieving, and you're still only 6 points, that is a very interesting spread. Is that folks don't believe in Texas A&M, or are they like me, still somehow have not sat down and actually watched Texas A&M?
It could be a little bit of both, but I think it's a road thing too. Maybe they do like Como's not like not even Bryant Denny, like Death Valley or
I get you. It's a different type of home field advantage.
Kyle Field even. Yeah, it's a different type of home field advantage because it's weird.
Yeah. Mainly because it's dark and it kind of sucks.
It's dark. It's weird. It's also under some construction, kind of like the Liberty Bowl, like in that left end zone, I guess. There's some construction going on behind those goalposts. I would imagine it's a little weird of a place to play in. But, I expect Texas A&M to go in there and cover 6.5. I think A&M wins it by a couple scores, a couple touchdowns, even if they do it methodically. Like, that's the thing about A&M this year is that I think the reason why they're a legit national title contender is because they can win games in multitudes of ways, even when they don't play their best. I think their offense played poorly against Auburn, but they still won that game by virtue of getting to the plus side of the field enough, having a good enough field goal kicker to make a lot of field goals. And defensively, they just smothered Auburn and kind of kick-started the beginning of the end of Hugh Freeze at Auburn. and they probably should have won that game by another touchdown. They had one taken off the board, which I thought was kind of a bad call, but that's whatever. It is what it is. But this A&M team does win a game, like any type of game, in a multitude of ways. They can win a shootout like they did against Notre Dame second week of the year on the road. They can win a rock fight when their offense isn't playing particularly well, and they can play a game where their defense is kind of giving up some. It doesn't happen frequently, but Arkansas got whatever they wanted on Texas A&M, and they still weren't able to stop Texas A&M enough to win that game. So I guess if we're looking for a team in the SEC that plays some of the best quote-unquote complementary football, we might be looking at Texas A&M as the ultimate example of that in this league.
Yeah, and there's a couple of things. Besides him just winning, nobody's going to pick Mike Elko out as the guy that he doesn't win the press conference. His name is not very flashy. His style is not necessarily something that people latch onto, but he just wins everywhere he goes, and he has a pedigree of football. The other thing really about Texas A&M, and this kind of lead us forward, is that the obvious driver of their offense is Marcel Reed.
Yes.
Marcel Reed had a choice to make when they got new coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Marcel Reed decided to stay through the transition, and that helped them propel them in this situation. Sounds very familiar with the situation we are rapidly approaching here in South Carolina, correct?
Correct. Because that coaching change also was an offensive coordinator change, too. When Jimbo Fisher left, Bobby Petrino clearly did not stay at Texas A&M. Mike Elko gets hired, brings in Colin Klein, who we may know as former Kansas State quarterback, finished third in the Heisman voting one year. And all of a sudden, you see Marcel's development go through the roof a little bit. He starts running the ball really well, as well as throwing the ball really well. He has become a true dual-threat quarterback in that regard. And they kind of gear the offense around what it is he did really well whenever he did get his chance to start. Remember, last year he was not the starter to begin the season. Current starting quarterback at Houston, Connor Wegman, was the starter. Wegman got hurt, had to miss a little bit of time, but Marcel Reed came in there and did not give the job up.
Yeah, it was one of those situations like the Tomlin situation where we don't want to see this starter get hurt.
Right.
Because if the starter gets hurt, the real starter's
ready.
Yeah. And it was a tough situation. I think that Marcel Reed in conversation is instructive towards where we are with LaNorris and the current quarterback situation that we have here.
It is. And the only difference is Marcel Reed didn't have an NFL decision to make. LaNorris Sellers will. And we've talked about it before, that somebody, most players in that position elect to go to the NFL. But is LaNorris Sellers a little different? Well, Todd McShay, former ESPN NFL analyst, NFL draft analyst, has received some interesting intel that might make us have to rethink this entire equation. He spoke on that yesterday. We're going to hear what he had to say and react to that coming up next. Now, what I'm about to say, I know might stun some of you, but I am not a professional athlete, nor have I been good enough to think about becoming a professional athlete. Shocking. I've been good enough to be playing in college and have to make the decision to stay in college or go pro. I can imagine that's a tough decision in certain circumstances. But what is not a tough decision is picking Midstate Roofing to help you with your issues you may be having with roofing and waterproofing. Because for nearly 30 years, Midstate Roofing has been taking the hard part out of that decision. They've made it pretty easy for many people, providing proper advice, service, and results to the specific needs of your facility. Midstate Roofing, one of the reasons why it is an easy decision is because they are always available. You can call them at 803-356-1919, even after hours, to be able to speak to an on-call technician, because sometimes those urgent needs need urgent responses, and Midstate Roofing is there to provide those responses. 803-356-1919 or always online at midstateroofing.com.
Kelly Mill Road near Bookman Road we do have an accident that is being noted at this time. No other accidents. Boy, I'll tell you what, need some sleep this weekend. No accidents to report otherwise. And as far as your forecast goes, yeah, enjoy it this weekend for sure, because it's going to be 76 today, 78 tomorrow, 79 on Sunday, before literally things change significantly. Monday, it's going to be breezy and cold, a high of only 51 with an overnight low of 30. So again, soak in that sun this weekend. It's 48 currently.
I know I have personally been operating under the assumption that Lenore Sellers would not be back next year because the NFL draft will come calling. Now, whether or not he gets picked in the first round would be the question, but he would certainly get picked. Now there's a question at the end of this year, as disappointing as it has been, he can still opt to go to the NFL draft because he has been in college for 3 years. That's the requirement. Or some people believe, I don't, I'm not of this belief, that he would go play somewhere else in college. But I've always been under the assumption that he's going to be going to the NFL draft, mostly because that is what I would do, right? That's how I've approached this, because I have no intel on it, right? Here's some things here and there, but nothing verifiable. So I've always kind of operated under, that's what I would do, right? Or if I was an agent, right, and I was representing him right now, I would kind of nudge him towards that. But it's a big personal decision that he has to make. And for some in the NFL draft scouting community, there's a belief that maybe he does return to college football. Todd McShay talked about this on his podcast as we cut 6 Gen, and this is him talking about Lenore Sellers and his future.
Lenore Sellers, there's a strong opinion in NFL scouting circles. He will be back in school next year, that he absolutely needs to, for his development, to be ready when he's called upon as a first-round draft pick, and all first-round quarterbacks, whether they plan on it or not, start in year 1. So everyone is supporting the concept of he needs another year of college. And there are people in his camp who are in agreement, is what I'm told. But I also, this is just scouts talking, there's some programs out there lurking.
You know there are. Do you have any names?
I got one. I'm not here to say there's collusion. I promise you, no one said a word, but one person started putting the dots together. You know, there is a place in South Florida where they've done a really nice job of handpicking quarterbacks the last 2 years, and they've seen ascensions in their game, and they have a lot of talent around that quarterback position, and they haven't been able to take that next step. Miami is a program I would be very cautious of if I'm Shane Beamer in the Gamecocks program, of trying to come in with an offer that is very difficult to refuse.
A lot of information there.
I know there's one Miami fan out there listening. You keep your hands off. You stop listening right now.
There are a couple of things in there that I would like to dispel, right?
Yes.
Where I would be hesitant to agree with what. Now, I'm not wanting to push back on what he's heard, right? What he's heard is what he's heard, and there's probably a lot of validity to that. But there are a couple of factual errors that he made. If you're going to be a quarterback in today's league, you got to start right away. I want to reel off some names, and you tell me if these guys are any good.
Just thinking.
Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love. Those are just a few off the cuff, right, that I thought of. How many of those guys started a game in their first year in the NFL? 0. None of them. Now, Aaron Rodgers sat for a few years. Jordan Love sat for a few years. Patrick Mahomes did not start until a throwaway game at the last week of the season, which I almost just don't count, right? That was a last game of the season. The Chiefs were making the playoffs. When they had the playoff game, guess who started for the Kansas City Chiefs? Not Patrick Mahomes, the one we know of who's got, 3 Super Bowl titles now? But it was Alex Smith against Marcus Mariota in a playoff game. He was not going to start that game. He was not starting that season. And then, of course, we all know the Tom Brady story. Did not start, only got to play because Drew Bledsoe got knocked out of a game, and the rest ended up becoming history.
And then he started cloning his pets. But we'll go to that, in the 9 o'clock hour.
Yes, and in the 9 o'clock advancements in modern science hour, and I'll call the Jeff Goldblum hour of your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not you could do this, you never stopped to consider whether or not you should. Okay,
correct.
so that's the 9 o'clock hour.
So back to Lenore, so I apologize.
Yes. But a fun thought exercise there, or disturbing, whichever way you look at it. But that is a misnomer that you have to start right away. And one of the reasons why I think some quarterbacks were perceived as damaged goods is because franchises saw them and their flaws and said, you know what, we can fix him right away. Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, right? Daniel Jones. A lot of those guys that ended up having career resurgences maybe those resurgences were part of a lack of quarterback development, maybe at the end of their college careers. And they got to the NFL and were playing with bad franchises that expected them to be something that they're not right away, something they could become, but something that they were not in that moment and would take time for them to develop. So I wanted to dispel that. I also wanted to dispel any idea that going to Miami and playing for the Miami Hurricanes immediately develops you into a great quarterback. Cam Ward played well, but what about Carson Beck? What has Carson Beck done this year to tell you that he is a first-round quarterback in the NFL draft?
Oh, it's heartbroken, right?
Got his heart broken.
And his car stolen.
His car stolen.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Did
So
happen, too.
it's been kind of a tough season for him.
And there has been a string of NFL players who have had their houses robbed in the last year and a half or so. So that makes him more like an NFL quarterback in terms of lifestyle. But he's still, in 2 of their losses this year, thrown a combined 7 picks. There's still more development needed for Carson Beck. And if you're an NFL team, if I want somebody to develop, I want to be the one in charge of developing them. I don't want to have to trust a college coaching staff to further develop somebody if they're not already there.
Cook. Keep cooking. Keep going. You're rolling.
That's one of my biggest issues with that thought. Oh, he needs to go to college to develop. If I'm an NFL franchise, especially if I have a coach like Kevin O'Connell, like Kyle Shanahan, like Sean McVay, why would I trust a college program to develop you into what I need you to do, right? Why would I leave the dirty work to you if I want to turn them into something specific with a specific vision? I'm not trusting a college coaching staff to do so. Not a disrespect to the college coaching staff.
Oh, I will, because we tried that here this year.
Also that,
and
yes.
it did not work. So that's me. But continue.
Also,
Keep cooking.
I'm a fan of controlling what you can control. And if I think a quarterback needs some development, but I like what they have in terms of what's in their toolbox, you know who I want to trust more to develop them? Me! The one who gets paid more to do this, right? The franchise that makes all these millions, billions even, right? In a league that is done nothing but develop quarterbacks over a strength or a length of time. I would trust my coaching staff to be able to do that. So those are the 2 things that I would completely dispel as maybe not being as conventional wisdom as Todd McShay might say. But the interesting part is that his sources tell him that a return for Lenoris is very possible. He even said likely.
Yeah, I mean, Lenoris's talent has afforded him these options, and that's awesome for him. That's great. But like the point that you were getting at towards the end, I would trust I'd rather develop where I'm going to be developed instead of taking another chance, playing in college, and not being in my destination. Why wouldn't I just go to the NFL and then develop there as opposed to taking a chance to develop when we've seen that might not work?
And does this mean, and this is another reason why the OC quarterbacks coach hire is so important, because you need a really good season. You need to keep Lenoris, and he needs to have a really good season because that's going to help you in the future.
He needs to be convinced the guy that you bring in is the one that can do that, right?
And those may be 2 different conversations, because the guy that we might be talking to bring in is a college offense, is a guy that might be not doing the things that develop Lenoris for the NFL. And those may be 2 distinct goals. And maybe this is the time where we say, hey, Lenoris, you have a goal of developing for the NFL. Well, maybe you should go to the NFL to do that, because we have to run a college offense to maximize all of this around us. So those may possibly be 2 different conversations that need to be had simultaneously.
Yeah.
But if I'm Lenoris, let me not say that. If I was advising Lenoris, I'd say, hey, dog, if your goal is to go to the NFL, go. You're clearly good financially. So the difference between you getting picked in the first round or the top of the second round doesn't really matter, because you're already good. So, hey, if you get picked in the top of the second round or the bottom of the first round by a really good team with a trustworthy staff, leave. Do not stay around here, because all of this could happen.
Yeah, because it is a gamble. Ultimately, it is a gamble to play your way out of it, right? That's where the whole decision-making process, I would be saying, go. If I were Lenoris Sellers, again, just trying to apply a little bit of empathy there. Well, we talked about Sad Boy season yesterday and the sad Palmetto Bowl, but we didn't even get to the best part. We didn't have time for the best part, because we'll hear from one of our friends here coming up next.
Hey guys, listen, feeling like you lost your edge? Maybe brain fog's got you struggling to focus? Are you working out and not getting the results that you used to? Well, there's a reason you're not feeling like yourself, and it might be low testosterone. But you don't just have to live with it. You don't have to accept it. You can change it, and you can change it with the help of Dr. Dan Boltnight at the Men's Clinic. Dr. Boltnight is a respected local physician, someone that you will see, someone that knows you, and someone that will get to the bottom of your symptoms. He'll personally tailor all your labs and your symptoms to get the results that you need. And here's the best part. Your initial consultation with Dr. Boltnight is absolutely free. So get your T-level check for free. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Don't wait. Call Dr. Dan Boltnight and the Men's Clinic at 803-875-MENS. That's 803-875-MENS. Or you can find them online at mensclinicsc.com.
Kelly Mill Road near Bookman Road, an accident to report. Nothing else to speak of at this point. 76 will be our high today. It's just been fantastic for a couple days. As we have mentioned, 78 tomorrow, 79 on Sunday. And come Monday, we'll have a couple days around 51. So it'll be a chilly start to your week, but we will at least get back into the mid-60s by Wednesday of next week. So again, soak in everything you can this weekend. Right now, it's 48.
Yesterday, we took a trip to Sad Boy City. We haven't been to Lawsuit City in a while, but just a couple of towns over, Sad Boy City. And Preston and I, last Friday on Halloween,
That's correct.
dressed up as Sad Boys, unintentionally matched today.
Denim
know
was today.
The denims today. I don't know what kind of synchronicity has been going on over the past couple months here in this studio, where we now start dressing like each other by osmosis. But there is we're still Sad Boys at heart.
Yes.
And we talked about the Sad Boy Palmetto Bowl or the Sad Boy South Carolina Bowl. We can really get creative with that. We have weeks to get to naming this thing appropriately. But we found a way this week how not to handle being a sad boy about it. Shane Beamer says we can't be sad boys. Bill O'Brien, the head coach of Boston College, showed us how not to be a sad boy, because he was asked a very valid question about Boston College's 1-8 start. Their very not good, very bad, ugly 1-8 start to this season. And this is what Bill O'Brien had to say.
You know, I'm glad you're down. I'm not down. Nobody's down. We're fighting. We're competing. You know, it's the second year of this program, Mike. You always come in here with these down questions. Like, you show up like once a month or something like that. You come in here with these down questions. I'm not down. I don't know what year you graduated from BC, but this is a program that we're building. Okay. Nobody here's down. We're positive. We're going to show up and play our asses off against SMU. You can go out there in your dark, clouded world or whatever it is and do what you want to do. We're not down. The sun is up, and we're fighting. That's my message to the fans. What's up, Trevor? How you doing?
What's up, Trevor?
What's up?
And the expression of somebody to his left who's looking up and he kind of looks up, you know, head down, but eyes up like, you hear this? You?
Two things. One, if you have to tell me you guys aren't down and go out of your way to do it, you're probably down a little bit. I would say you're probably a little down. And two, a speech like that while saying you're not down is giving Will Ferrell from, what's that movie where they're trying to start a fraternity in college? Old School. Yes, so in Old School where he's the mascot and they're in the locker room and they're doing all the challenges or whatever. He's like, we got to keep our composure. He's just yelling at everybody, you got to keep our composure.
I'm not down. You're down.
Yeah, you're down. I'm not down. Don't you dare put it in the newspaper that I was mad. I'm not mad. I am so calm. I am so up and happy. The sun is up right now.
Yeah.
If you can't tell by the tone of my voice, the sun is up and everything is awesome right now. I'm not mad or down. It's you. That's not how you handle that. You're not convincing me, Bill.
Yeah, and being 1-8 would give you plenty of reasons to be down. It'll be okay if you say, "Hey, man, it's been tough. We're a little bit tough. We're fighting, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all, it's tough." That might resonate a little bit more than yelling at the reporter who's just asking the question like, "Hey, man, how's it going?" You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, a totally valid question. You're 1-8. You know what I expect you to be? Sad boys.
Yeah.
That's human nature. It's human nature to feel bad about yourself when you've played 9 games and you've only won 1 of them, right? Human nature to feel that way. It's okay to be disappointed. Now, you don't want to play disappointed, and you don't want that lingering in their heads whenever they're playing the game, right? You can't go out there and pout, but I don't know if the ideal picture of leadership is saying, I'm not down about the season, you are. Now we're getting into gaslighting territory.
yeah, and then when he goes to, "What's up, Trevor?" You think Trevor
That's
had
the
a
funny
question?
part.
You think Trevor like erased this question like, "I was gonna ask how you feeling, coach, but
I think you answered my question already.
I'll pass."
That's what's up, coach. But like objectively, the funniest part about that is him. And if you watch the video, he's like looking to his left and giving this report, or his right and giving this reporter the business. And then he immediately turns up to his left, makes eye contact with like some other reporter, goes, "What's up, Trevor? You want these hands next, pal?" Oh, but no, it's okay to be sad being 1-8.
I mean, you've seen this all over the country. There's a lot of teams that are having disappointing seasons. We've obviously seen Shane have his moments. We've seen Dabo have his moments. We've seen Dion have his moments. My boy Fran Brown Jr. is not having the best year this year. You don't hear a lot of quote machine Fran Brown coming this year. It's rough around places where especially where winning was expected. Now, I don't know what the BC expectations were, but in places where winning was expected, it's very difficult to mask the disappointment. And sometimes I think maybe in therapy they call that lashing out.
Yes.
Right? You're lashing out at people that you have no control over them. They're asking you questions. You're really frustrated about the situation here. I have to let that out on somebody. And oftentimes it's to the reporters who are just not even asking very difficult questions. Again, I'm old enough to remember that happening here about 3 weeks ago.
Right.
Jack.
Yeah.
Jack.
I already made changes.
Jack. That's when you know it gets personal when you say their name.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Jack. Or you go, Mike. It's like, hey, man. Whoa.
What's up, Trevor?
Sorry, Bill. Or the famous Tyler, right?
Oh, yes.
It's always the great. So,
which is now aged gracefully, by the way.
yeah. And that, you know what? Maybe we've lit onto something. Maybe a coach is going down Sad Boy City when they address a reporter by name.
Or is that the official lashing out point?
That's the lashing out point.
Like that's what we can pinpoint as like, okay, now you're lashing out. Now you're no longer internalizing these feelings. You're now lashing them out.
We've crossed the threshold where you want to personalize my job. I'm no longer a nameless, faceless opponent. I am now Tyler or Jack.
This is now
Mike.
directed.
What's up, Trevor?
I almost want to carve out the "What's up, Trevor?" for if anybody that calls in named Trevor, we can just play that sounder.
It happens, man. But listen, man, it's tough, and they have to face it. That's part of the job.
Yeah.
You get the glory when you win. You have to answer the questions, accountability, all that stuff when you lose.
Yeah, you get paid a lot of money to answer those questions and talk about your football team, even if you are 1-8, and even if you are really bad. Real quick, we'll go to the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. We have Tom on the line with us. Tom, good morning. Welcome to the early game.
Yeah, when y'all were talking about Boston College, it came to my head real quick. The two Division I teams that Clemson has beat, they have a total of 4 victories the entire season. And so Dabo's going a little crazy up there. What I don't understand about Dabo, I'm being sarcastic, when he was winning, he never said one word about refereeing and accountability and all this rant he's been on. Now when he's losing games, all of a sudden, referees need to be accounted for. I think what he needs to account for is how in 9 games his team has only beaten teams that have won a total of 4 games. You know, coaching young people, and I think, Preston, you can relate to this, always said there's one word that describes people who complain about the referees, and one word is loser. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
I love it.
1,000%. In the words of the great Lou Holtz, loser language, blame, complain, and make excuses. You're a loser. It's a really simple way to put it.
Especially because the call that Dabo was alluding to the most was that pass interference or non-pass interference in the end zone. I have a solution. Don't put yourself in that position. Don't give up 40-plus points already to Duke before that. Right? Don't go down 21-7 or whatever it was early in that game. Because if a game gets close, there will be decisions have to be made by an official on a play. Whenever you make the last few plays of a game matter, when you make the last 20-some-odd plays of a game really matter, the likelihood that something like that can happen is immense. That's why you take care of your business through all 4 quarters. Funny thing about football, the game's not played in one play. It is played in a collection of them throughout 4 quarters. I think he has more he should complain about that doesn't relate to officiating, but maybe more so about his team. Now, in terms of coaching changes, South Carolina made one at the offensive coordinator position. Mike Furrey will be calling the plays, but if Preston Thorne was the one calling the plays, we're going to put Preston Thorne in Mike Furrey's shoes. We'll see what Preston would do with this offense next. The news of the week in Gamecock land was the firing of offensive coordinator Mike Shula. And in the interim, for the last 3 games of the season, at Texas A&M, home against Coastal Carolina, and against Clemson to end the season, Mike Furry be the one calling the plays. Now, that made me think. We can just talk about what we think Mike Furry would do with this offense, but I want it to be a little more fun. I want to pretend Preston Thorne is the offensive coordinator. He's got the play call sheet. Which I assume if you were calling plays, you would just have that envelope, all right, or that folder that you would use.
It wouldn't be this big, though. It would not be this big. It'd be this big.
Oh, it'd be folded into a small, basically a card, a note card.
I pull it out of my pocket. I'm ready to go.
It's the size of a note card. But what is on that note card, Preston Thorne? If you were tasked with this specific team, with the specific issues they've had this year, your play sheet, and not just in terms of size, but its contents.
Okay, if you've been keeping up with the show, you know that we have an affinity for number 44, and that would be the basis of my offense. My offense would not be based on Lenore Sellis. It'd be based on Mo Brown. And we would run my offense, which is called the stretch and catch. It's called the stretch and catch. You might have the run and shoot. You might have the veer and shoot, the ground and pound, the claw fence. This offense is called the stretch and catch, and we base this offense around Mo Brown. If you're a defense, you need to find where Mo Brown is going to be because he's going to be everywhere. Is he going to be an end-of-the-line tight end? Yes. Will he be an H-back? Yes. Maybe a fullback? Yes. He will be everywhere in this offense. He might even be playing tailback. And when he's playing tailback, you know what he's going to be doing? He's going to be blocking. He's going to be blocking for 16. The stretch and catch. Every play is going to be based on the old school Indianapolis Colts stretch play. We're going to stretch, 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 stretch. But here's where the key comes in, because sometimes we might give it and sometimes we might run the play action.
Their most successful offense this season.
We're going to run
numbers.
this. We're going to run this a lot. So that's where the stretch comes in. Sometimes we stretch it. Sometimes it's a play action. Sometimes it's a bootleg. And then we run the bootleg. We bootleg back out. Now, with this offense, when we run this offense, we have to figure out where Mo Brown is, and we will run a lot where he is. He will be at the point of attack a lot of times. He will be an extra blocker a lot of times. He will be utilized on every single down that we play offense. We have a tight end, and then we have Mo Brown. We will run 12 personnel almost exclusively. But the catch is Mo is one of those 12, so he could be lined up at the end of the line of scrimmage. He might be a fullback. He might be at H-back. Then we find our two guys, probably Nick, maybe Van Drevis. Mandate as the OC. We will throw one deep ball per quarter. Deep ball consists of 20-plus yards in the air.
Oh, I love it.
We will throw at least one per quarter to Nick Harbor. You can know that coming into the game. As a DC, if you're preparing for us, just know, if you see the clock running down and we got the ball and there's like 30 seconds left in the first quarter, yeah, the deep ball's coming because we haven't thrown it yet.
If we have not thrown it yet.
It's coming. You
it
can
can
prepare.
come the first play. It can be the fourth play.
We're going to do it.
It could be the last play.
We're going to do it. The rest of our passing concepts will be flood concepts because it worked against Virginia Tech, that one shining moment that we had. And we will run that play over and over and over again. So that's my offense, man. It's not very long. It's not very detailed. And I think it would actually give us a chance for success. The stretch and catch.
Oh, and this is why I could fit on a note card, right? This is why I could fit on a little piece of paper.
We have about 12 plays. But we multiply them by 2 because left and right. Now we have 24 plays.
Now 24.
And then you multiply it again by another 12 because sometimes Mo's on the line, sometimes it's at H-back. Now we have 36 plays. And then sometimes we put them at fullback. Now we have 48 plays. But it's the same 12 plays that we run over and over and over again.
Goal line play, Mo Brown.
I already told you he's in the game. So the DC does not know when we're going to goal line package because Mo's back there. Sometimes he carries the ball. Sometimes he's at fullback. This offense also does not call for a running back.
Oh, because Mo Brown can be your running back.
Mo Brown is our running back. We've banished the running backs. You have not performed up to our expectations. Sit on the sideline, kids.
We're going to find a way.
We'll find a way without you. We'll be +1 in our running game. Stretch and catch.
The stretch and catch. I love it. I want to see if there's a way I could utilize that on NCAA football.
Find it.
So we could find a way to be able to use this science experiment and make it work. I love it. The stretch and catch. That is the Preston Thorne offense. You can get really freaky with that one too. You can really do a lot of fun stuff. Mo Brown and the Wildcat, maybe? Who says no?
No, you better get your stamina up, son.
You ever played 70 plays of offense in a game before? And special teams? We're going to find out. Hour number 1 in the books. Hour number 2, we're going to give you the ultimate chaos scenario in college football if you're looking for a little bit of anarchy. That's next. Thanksgiving's coming up just in a few weeks, and Zerorez at Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning wants to be thankful for you and express that gratitude with Zerorez. Spell it backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean.
Still working Kelly Mill Road near Bookman Road. Another accident to let you know about, and that's Columbia Highway near Jake Knott's Bridge, kind of right there at Cox Ferry. And a beautiful weekend ahead, 76 today, 78, 79 tomorrow and Sunday. Monday and Tuesday going to start off kind of chilly to kick the week off, 51 both days. Then we kind of jump back up to the mid-60s around Wednesday. So it is going to be cool to start the week, that's for sure. Going to want to make sure you have found the little bit heavier layers, but it'll get a little bit better midweek next week. 48 currently.
Hour number 2 of the early game starts right now. I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Preston Thorne. She's Jen Jensen. And we are about to lay out the ultimate chaotic college football scenario. If you want chaos, like I do, we're going to lay that out for you. But first, we will go to the AAA Heating and Air phone lines, and we'll welcome James onto the program. James, good morning. Welcome to the early game.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. You doing all right?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. You guys were talking about Clemson when I got in the car, and you're 100% right. I believe this is malfeasance, malpractice, on a muck, hoodwinked, whatever you want to call it.
I love hoodwink. I love that one.
But you know something? Dabo had a Porsche in 2019, right?
Mm-hmm.
In 2020, and he put the keys to a Porsche in an 8-year-old's hand. He hired a defensive coordinator that has never coached football in his life, let alone call a defense. Never coached anybody, but you put him over your linebackers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You put a running back who's never coached in his life, made him your running backs coach. You bring a wide receivers coach who's never coached in his life, and you put him over your wide receiver group. So why would you wonder if you don't have development at those positions? Shipley, Maffa, those guys came in ready to play, right? But he failed to develop anybody behind him. The wide receiver core, we've cycled through 2 or 3 sets of wide receivers and had to get 5 stars to even show something. He's done something with putting Galloway there to help out Grisham. But another thing, Tom Allen is not the guy. Everybody I've talked to that knows football knows that Tom Allen is not the guy. Duke and SMU beat us by formation. Why would you run a zero blitz and have your cornerback sitting 10 yards off the line of scrimmage?
I wouldn't do that. Wouldn't be my recommendation.
So the thing is, you have a lot of people, a lot of Clemson people right now are wishing for just to lose out, to be honest with you, to force the administration to put him on an ultimatum. He's going to fire 1 or 2 coaches, but it's a little bit deeper than that. It's a lot deeper than that. It's a lot deeper. So you guys at least have lost to quality opponents. so there it is.
Sad boy city.
This is sad boy city. Misery loves company, James. I think this is kind of part of that, right? I mean, I don't know if we've ever had that type of coordination between fan bases before, but that is kind of where we're at. I totally get it. I get it.
I want to touch on something that James said, and I think that was a great call. Appreciate you listening.
Thank you for the
and again, anybody from any other fan bases, especially if you're sad,
we're all welcome.
Come on, join us. But I think there are some similarities between the hire of Wes Godwin and the hiring of Mike Schuler, because they were both guys that were in the program, guys that they were around. The point of the hire was supposed to be for continuity, but at both points, both Dabo and Shane had chances to go out there and really make big-time hires. Now, obviously, we lost Dow, they lost Brent. That's not the same. Okay, that's not the same.
And are we seeing this season that Dabo is actually good when it's good around him? Like he definitely
I mean he's always been really good when he's had great staffs around him, and that's a lot of coaches, and there's nothing wrong with that.
That's why those positions are so important.
That's why it's so important.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think there is a through line between sometimes when you make the easy hire or the convenient hire or the guy that's around. They might have been around and they might have been good in the position that they were, but that doesn't mean that they'll be good in the next position. Mm-hmm. And I think Clemson found that out with Wes Godwin or Wes Goodwin, and we found that out with Mike Schuler. And so both programs are kind of facing the repercussions of not making the right hire in the right time. And those are important hires to make.
Yeah, vitally important. And I think that's why I don't think we're underselling this when we're saying the move that Shane Beamer's about to have to make in terms of replacing Mike Shula as offensive coordinator is going to be his biggest in his career, right? Because this could be what makes or breaks.
It will be.
Future. Yeah.
It will be what makes or breaks it. It's not even could be. It will be. Because if you go out and we perform poorly again on offense, it's over.
Yeah. And unfortunately, you don't want to see it go down that path, but this is exactly where it has to start in terms of bouncing back for 2026, because that's kind of where I know they're trying to salvage the season and get to a bowl game. Best of luck. Texas A&M is really good. That's one of the reasons why we're going to be locked in on Texas A&M this weekend, watching them play against Missouri. But this is a turning point, if you will,
yes,
with what's going on with the future of this program. It's Football Friday, and obviously no Gamecock football to talk about this weekend.
Preferably.
Second bye week. I'm really enjoying the 2 bye week thing.
I like it.
I do kind of dig it a little bit. I like having the extra weekend to kind of check out the rest of the world of college football. But Preston Thorne, do you like chaos in this crazy sport?
I do. I think that's one of the selling points of this crazy sport.
Yes, especially considering its playoffs are not picked by standings. They are picked by humans.
Invitational.
It is an invitational. They are picked by humans who also sometimes have flawed logical reasonings for making this entire tournament. We have our first college football playoff ranking out, which means now I can really look at things and say, how can we make this as difficult as humanly possible for them to field this bracket? So I have come up with some scenarios here as to what can actually make this season almost such an discombobulated to where no one's going to be happy with the college football playoff selection. And the older I get, the more I kind of want to see it. So let's start off with a game playing tonight. Tulane needs to beat Memphis.
Tulane needs to beat Memphis.
Because
I'm writing it down.
Because then that knocks Memphis out of that 5th conference champion spot in the college football playoff. And that more than likely ruins their shot at getting in the American Conference Championship game. The winner of that conference, more than likely, unless the committee values the Sun Belt champion or the Mountain West champion above them, it's definitely not going to be Conference USA, despite them being the conference champions. Not going to be that great league, but that's going to be our first little domino. Now, tomorrow, starting at noon, where College Game Day and Big Noon Kickoff will both be at. I hope they fight before they go on air, kind of like in the movie Anchorman. But Texas Tech and BYU are going to be playing. Texas Tech needs to win that game for maximum chaos.
For maximum chaos.
Yes.
Right, yeah, because that's the argument the conversation that Nick and I were having yesterday. We talked about that. I was saying that Big 12 wants BYU to win to sort of boast themselves as a traditional power. But if this team comes in, bucking the system, doing things a new way, and now they've already ascended to the top, throwing tortillas everywhere, that could be maximum chaos.
And one of the reasons why is if you want maximum chaos, you need decisions to be made by the committee, right? You need to put the decisions in the hands of flawed human beings. Right now, the top 3 in the Big 12 look like this. BYU at 5-0 in conference play. Texas Tech at 5-1. Cincinnati at 5-1. And then you have Houston, Utah, and Arizona State just lurking at 4-2. If BYU takes an L, that's 3 teams at the top of the Big 12 conference that have a loss. And if there is no Texas Tech in that Big 12 title game, or BYU, despite maybe only having 1 loss, because we know how these funky tiebreakers can be, then one team being on the outside looking in saying, hey, we just didn't get in because of a tiebreaker. How are you going to keep us out? That makes the committee have to do more decision-making if Texas Tech were to beat BYU. Now, if BYU wins in Lubbock, that takes some of that decision-making out, right? Texas Tech gets loss number 2 on the year. BYU looks like they would start cruising into Dallas for that Big 12 title game. It can be a little funky there. Oregon's playing at Iowa on CBS at 3:30. Many a team has gone into Kinnick Stadium with a really good offense and scored 14 points and left with a loss. Not saying this is what can get Iowa in the picture, but if Oregon loses this game, the Big 12 is going to be squirming a little bit to try to get that extra team in, because they're kind of in the position the SEC was last year, where it looks like they could be the team that's 1 or 2 teams short compared to their counterpart.
I'm just trying to check what Iowa's record is right now. Okay. All right. Oregon, overrated?
I think
exposed.
I think they are properly rated.
Properly rated, and they've just had a one win that was supposed to be the best win, age like milk, that has been left outside in the middle of July for 2 days. I mean, we tell you game of inches, but it's almost like college football by inches because, I mean, this is an overtime game that comes down to one play, double overtime
We went
game.
to 2 of them.
The whole fate of the college universe is changed by a double overtime play, which could have gone either way, anyway. That's so wild.
And then one team completely imploding after that game.
Right.
And Oregon was kind of banking on that being one of their banner wins of the season. Now they have opportunities. I believe they still have Southern Cal on the schedule, who is number 10 in FPI. So that would be a resume builder. Washington's in the top 25 in FPI. That would help. So they have some opportunities to make it look better from a resume standpoint, but they don't have that banner win, right? Honestly, a win at Iowa would be maybe their best win if they're able to hold that down. But if Iowa was to win that game, that's another 2-loss Big Ten or SEC team in which the committee would have to make a decision, which leads me to this. If LSU gets that post-Brian Kelly bump and beats Alabama,
they are eligible.
They are eligible.
They are eligible. I remember I tell you about the coach who's a jerk when he leaves.
We've seen it with Trent Dilfer.
I'm telling you, don't sleep on that bump.
That bump is real. And if they're able to pull off a win against Alabama, which LSU in this rivalry has picked off Alabama a few times when they're not supposed to.
Do not discount it, man. It couldn't happen.
And if that happens, Alabama's got loss number 2, no matter how good they've been at times this year. That would be the second loss this season. And again, the committee won't keep them out with 2 losses. But, buddy, it makes those last few weeks holding on. Because you know who they played the last game of the year? Another post-jerk firing bump with Hugh Freeze and Auburn.
I'm just telling you.
That would just certainly make things interesting. Now, if Missouri were to beat Texas A&M, things get very interesting. Not just because that's the number 3 team in the country going down. But that's a Texas A&M team that has to end their season against Texas on the road. They have to go to Austin, which means the possibility of getting 2 losses becomes a little more real. And once you get to 2-loss territory, it's decision-making time. And if they have 2 losses, and that means they're not playing in an SEC title game, maybe where they play Alabama, but in this scenario, if Alabama loses, then it gets a little bit hairier in terms of having to make a decision on at least 5 different 2-loss teams in the SEC.
I hear you. I appreciate this exercise, but we do not want that because we don't want our game to move from trap game to rebound game.
We
don't want to play in the rebound game. We do want to play in the trap game.
Which is why I titled this, If You Desire Chaos checklist, right? The chaos scenarios. If that's something that you are looking for, this is what it is. If you're a Gamecock fan, you are not looking for this.
We are firmly in trap game territory right now.
And now the last one. This is the nice little bow on top of this chaos package. If Wake Forest were to go on the road and beat Virginia, not out of the realm of possibility, Virginia was a 2-point conversion away from losing to North Carolina in Chapel Hill.
Wake Forest was a 2-point conversion away from beating Georgia Tech.
Yep, and Wake Forest was that close to spoiling it for Georgia Tech. Why is this one? Because you're like, Elijah, Virginia wouldn't be in it if it wasn't for them leading the ACC. Well, this creates ACC chaos because then we would have Duke, SMU, Louisville, Pittsburgh, Georgia Tech, Virginia, all with 1 loss in the ACC. 6 teams, a 6-way tie at the top of that conference going into the 3rd Saturday in November. Which that on its own.
6 teams fighting for 1 spot?
For 2 spots.
2 spots.
Now, if I'm looking at, like who Georgia Tech plays, they got Boston College. Don't have to worry about that for this ultimate scenario.
You're down.
Yeah, you're down. I'm not down. You're down. Now, Pitt, their next game is against Notre Dame. They have to play Georgia Tech later, so that would factor into it. Louisville and SMU and Duke, don't know if they all play each other. Now, one has to go play Cal and Clemson. That'd be Louisville. But there's a good chance that we can have a 6-way tie in the ACC at the end of this week if that were to happen. But here's why these things can happen. All those games favored by 9.5 or less. More of the...
Preston here for our friends at Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. So if your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked or broken, they can handle the job. If it's a cracked windshield, that's no problem. They'll come out to your location and they'll replace it for you, usually for free, and they'll work directly with your insurance to take away the headache. That's right. They'll come out to where you are and they will work with you and they will take away any of the issues. That's a great job for the folks at Absolute Glass. Now, if you're at home and you're looking to increase the value of your home, you can do that with Absolute Glass also. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. If you hear me say on the radio all the time, if you can see through it, Absolute Glass can do it. So check Ray and Marianne out at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
Columbia Highway near Jake Knott's Bridge. There's an accident there. Also working one, Kelly Mill Road near Bombing Range Road, and another slowdown Broad River Road at I-20. Beautiful today, sunny, 76, a mix of clouds and sun tomorrow and Sunday, about 78, 79, something like that for the remainder of the weekend. Monday, it's going to be 51 with an overnight low of 30. We'll stay 51 Monday and Tuesday before it kind of warms back up, so we're looking forward to that. But 58 currently on the early game.
It's Football Friday, but we like to mix things up a little bit during the early game morning meetings. So we figured we would get you ready for what the Gamecocks are doing, men's and women's, on the hardwood this weekend. So that being said, Jen Jensen, let's get this thing started.
Good morning. Good morning. Repeat after me. Today will be an awesome day. Let's go. Good morning. Good morning. Great today. Today will be an awesome day.
Friday.
Good morning. Great today. Today will be an awesome day.
You know it's going to be a great day because it's Friday.
And we're wearing double denim.
We're double deniming.
I feel so left out. I'm not going to lie.
Sorry.
More in the football yoga looking pants to, I'm guaranteeing we're never going to dress the same.
I left mine in the closet today. I'll make sure that I get them, though.
Now, if Preston and I both come in one day wearing a T-shirt and yoga pants both, we can't really claim this was an accident, right?
Yeah, I would hope.
We can't claim lack of coordination as to why.
You wore yours, too, today.
Oh, what a coincidence. Oh, it's so strange. No, the funny thing is we would try to do that just to try to, air quotes, organically all dress together. And it'd be the day that you don't come in. So Preston and I would be coming in wearing really tight yoga pants and be like, nope, we guessed wrong. Maybe that should have taken a little more coordination.
Mm-hmm. A little bit.
But this weekend on the hardwood, starting tonight over at CLA, the Gamecock women's basketball team, fresh off their 40-point win against Grand Canyon. Same time, 7 o'clock, facing off against yet another former Don Staley assistant. This time, it was Winston Gandy earlier this week. It's Fred Schmiel in Bowling Green this week.
Yeah, okay.
So the tour of former Don Staley assistants coming to Colonial Life
And
Arena.
this is totally without looking, and I'm not great radio, but that was like maybe 2 years ago he went to Bowling Green?
Yes.
Okay,
I think this
good.
is year
Good job,
3,
Preston.
2 or 3. I think with him at Bowling Green, I think year 3.
Okay.
Year 3 with him at Bowling Green. They played Louisiana.
Could he by chance bring Pudge the Cat?
Ooh.
Is there?
Oh my gosh.
Does he have that pull? Is Bowling Green is playing this Saturday.
Oh, okay.
So-
I mean, I figured maybe if Pudge was on a bye week, he could come.
See, if it was a bye week, then okay. Yeah. Then
But Pudge got to work.
yeah, Pudge he's on scholarship. Don't know if you see, they put Pudge in the helmet and the jersey. He's on the team. Like he's on the team.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm actually thinking maybe the Colts Blue
Yeah.
could drive down, swing by, pick up Pudge, and then we could just have a party down
Just
here.
way down here.
Good.
That'd be fun.
I might have to retire if we ever got Pudge the Cat or Blue in studio.
Yeah.
I would have to.
Maybe
Might have to
that's
retire
the
because I don't know.
Mecca. Yeah.
I don't know if it gets better than that. And maybe it peaks. But South Carolina should win this game by a lot. It's another one of those things. You want to go see your favorite team beat somebody by 30 plus, maybe 40, because they did win by 40 against Grand Canyon. And according to Bart Torvik's metrics, which is very similar to Ken Pom does not do women's basketball. Bart Torvik does both men's and women's. He's got Bowling Green at number 146 in the country. And for reference, Grand Canyon is at 97.
Okay.
So technically, according to metrics, a little bit of a step down
So
competition.
that's why you play the game. Herm
Yes.
Edwards, yes. That being said, you still want to go out there to see the style of basketball that we're playing this year because it is totally different,
different.
than what we've done. Not totally, but there's a big difference between this year's team and what this team is going to be than what some of Coach Staley's teams have been in the past. So you want to still learn about some of the new players, even see some of the development. We talked about Joyce Edwards, maybe adding a 3-ball to her game.
She attempted one.
So maybe there's that. You want to see the development of some of the other players. So even in the games where it's essentially a foregone conclusion, there's still a lot of reasons to go out there and check those games out.
Yeah. And seeing what Dawn says after the game, because I think it's going to be an adjustment for her with how they're playing this year, where the offense is going to go through a lot through their guards.
Yeah, very similar to how when Spurrier was here and he had to run the ball 40 times a game, like, okay, I will do it.
I have somebody in the backfield that needs to touch the ball because he is the best football player on the field.
It's not my preference, but we're winning, and this is how I'm going to win. I will do it.
I like winning more than I like winning my way. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so I think Dawn, obviously realizes this And she even said after the game against Grand Canyon, this is something that she's going to have to be get adjusted to, right? Is maybe not playing through the post like she has in previous years. And on the men's side, they'll play Southern Miss on Sunday. Won't be at that one. It'll be at Saints Panthers. So I will be keeping up with it, and I'll be watching it after the fact. Southern Miss is 1-1. They had a loss at Buffalo, 85-79, and they do have a win against Tougaloo College.
Okay.
Now, I've got it in the search bar, right? All I got to do is press click. So I don't know where Tougaloo College is. Would we like to take a guess where Tougaloo College is?
I think I know, but that name just sounds very Mississippi-ish.
It sounds very Mississippi. I would assume it's in Mississippi. If you play a D2 opponent, it's in your own state.
I think it's Michigan. Not too far away.
Both have the same first letter, but one of you is correct, and that would be Mississippi.
Yeah, it just feels that's like a Mississippi name.
Tougaloo,
I was
Mississippi.
thinking like Waterloo. So
Fair.
Fair. Just a little north of Pearl. So if this is your first time hearing about Tougaloo College, it is for me too. That is Southern Miss's only win so far this year. They are 1-1. Again, kind of like the women, even if it should be a foregone conclusion. Here's the thing. I'm still old enough to remember North Florida coming here and winning last year and kind of derailing the season. So it's not anywhere near as much a foregone conclusion. But this team is playing differently than it did last year. The South Carolina team hit 14 threes in the opener against North Carolina A&T. This is a step up in competition because, according to Ken Palm, North Carolina A&T ranks 352 out of 365 teams. Southern Miss is 282. So a little bit of a step up still. Maybe not the greatest idea of how they're going to play in SEC play, but you get a better picture of how they're going to play this year against a little better competition.
For reference, where are we?
South Carolina is at 92.
Okay.
and we have Kaki who can make a half court shot.
He did. He is 1 for 1 in games where he has made a half court shot.
In the opening game.
There's
Opening
video
game,
of this?
banked it in.
I did not see this. I'm sorry. I'll excuse myself now.
I did not get video, but I did look up and saw him.
I saw it. I did see it online. That's how I saw
Rear
it.
back, hook shot, banked it in.
I mean,
beautiful.
Impressive.
Now, I think it took maybe 5 or 6 attempts. He'll go out there until he makes it. Mm-hmm. Right?
But the fact that he can make it, I mean,
it's impressive.
I don't care how long it takes. I don't think I could.
I don't think he hit any last year in games I went to that I remember.
Okay.
But he did the year before. So I've only seen Kaki make the half court shot on 2 different occasions.
Wait a second. He didn't make any last year.
Uh-huh.
And he did make some the year before.
Mm-hmm.
What happened the year before?
Went to the NCAA tournament.
What happened last year?
Did not make the NCAA tournament. Brian Windhorse fingers.
The drum?
Maybe we're actually hitting it with a real drumstick and not the little brush.
Just a little brush
Think it's
drum?
time.
Maybe?
Maybe the banging of the drums is going to start getting a little louder. Maybe. I think that might be a sign. But there's a lot going on in the NFL this weekend. We'll give you our favorite games to look for, and we're going to find out what German is for Rise Up. That's next.
Hey, it's Jen for Carolina Stone Craftsman just outside Columbia in Chapin. I'm telling you, we had such a great experience with them when we needed some countertops to go on some new cabinets in bathrooms. Everything was great. They explained to us the different types of marble and quartz and granite, made recommendations as to what might be best, and then every step of the way was a great process. Their showroom, when we first visited it was fabulous. We learned so much, saw their creativity for sure. They also have a beautiful outdoor showroom to show all the different hardscapes that they can do for you. So if you're in the market for countertops for your kitchen or bath, do reach out to Carolina Stone Craftsman. Tell them Jen sent you. They're family owned and operated. They are just beyond Columbia in Chapin, and I can assure you they are beyond your expectations. Check them out to learn more. CarolinaStoneCraftsman.com. Still a couple accidents out there. Broad River Road at I-20. Kelly Millet Bombing Range Road or near Bombing Range Road. Farrow Road near Beckman Drive. And just to remind you, Columbia Highway near Jake Knott's Bridge. There's some slowdowns there due to an accident. 76 today, mostly sunny. 78, 79 Saturday and Sunday, a mix of clouds and sun both of those days before it turns breezy and cold on Monday. 51 for the high, overnight low of 30, 51 on Tuesday. So a couple of days of cold temperatures, then we at least get back a little more moderate in the mid-50s. Right now, though, it's about the same where we've been the last few days, 48.
Aufstehen. Aufstehen.
For those who didn't hear it, one more time, Preston Thorne. That is German for what, Preston Thorne?
Rise up.
Now it's your turn to say it.
Aufstehen. But she's a little bit, she's not very intimidating when she's saying it. You gotta say Aufstehen. But there's very different variations of rise up that I found because German, like every other language, has different ways that you can say things. And so Aufstehen is simply the rise up, but it doesn't really mean anything, right? The word we're looking for is this one.
Ooh. That is. One more time. Hochhagen.
Hochhagen.
You gotta say
That
it
means
like that with some
that
conviction.
means to rise up, tower up, or soar.
Ooh.
And that's what we're gonna do this weekend. We're gonna soar.
Gonna need to. You're playing the 7-2 Colts in Germany. You say it's in Frankfurt, I guess is the
yes.
game? Okay, Frankfurt. Because I believe they had a game in Berlin a couple of years ago between Dolphins and Chiefs.
I think you're correct.
Yeah, I think that one has been Berlin. So I think this is the first one in a Frankfurt. No, not the capital of Kentucky city in Germany.
Hochhagen.
Do your Falcons Hochhagen against the Colts on Sunday. You took them in the underdog challenge, but how are you feeling about that one? Because the Colts got a little bit of a boost.
They did get a boost. And as we said, the Colts are going for it. They feel like there's a window, there's a time that they have to win. And so I feel good. These are kind of mirror-like teams. You know, they both have really dynamic running backs. Maybe the two best running backs in the league.
Yeah, hard to argue against it.
Two best running backs in the league. So if you're in the running games, you're going to watch the fun teams. I think they got an option. They got an opportunity. Maybe it's just I'm still not completely sold on Indianapolis, and maybe Daniel Jones turns back to Danny Dimes. And, you know, I think Daniel Jones. Maybe he's the only person who's actually better with his government name than his nickname.
Yes, and I think he has kind of adopted the Indiana Jones nickname.
Oh,
now that he's in Indy, so Danny Dimes dead, Indy Jones alive.
All right, we don't want him.
Yeah, you want Danny Dimes.
Yes.
In this game.
Yes.
Because the dimes he threw when he was playing in New York oftentimes went to the other team.
Correct.
Which you like to be the recipient of, right? It's an interesting game because I think both those teams very offensive led. That's why the Colts traded for Sauce Gardner, because they need to get better in the pass defense. They need to get a little better in the run defense. And looking at a lot of metrics, they're kind of middle of the road. And a lot of those, it's not like the Colts have a bad defense.
Mid.
It's just, it's mid. Yes. Yes. To use one of our favorite words here on the early game, it is mid. How much Sauce Gardner helps them immediately is what I'm intrigued to see, because I can imagine it's a pretty jarring turnaround if he's able to play. He is cleared from concussion protocol. So how many snaps he plays, I don't know. Or if he plays at all, because he does have to, like, in the middle of the week, say, hey, you've been traded. Oh, yeah, the team we traded you to is playing across the pond. We need to get you out to Germany.
It's a tough flight.
That's a tough flight. Yeah.
What if you don't have a passport?
I was going to say, you have a passport.
You better get that help. You got that passport, brother.
See what kind of strings, I guess, Carly Ursay Gordon can pull to get him over to Germany, because they're going to need him for the rest of the season. This is a big game for them because they don't want to lose 2 in a row.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that what I don't know enough about Indianapolis' defensive scheme to see whether or not Sauce will be an immediate. Obviously, he's a better player than whoever else they have out there.
Yes.
That's obvious. But is their scheme conducive to really taking advantage of the skills of a elite cover corner? And I just don't know that, but it's an upgrade regardless of who's out there.
Yeah, because I would say eye test in a couple of the numbers. I mean, defensive backs are so hard to judge by numbers just because a really good defensive back just won't have the ball thrown his way. So it might look like he's doing a whole lot of nothing out there, but that's because teams are scared to death to throw in the direction of an elite corner. But I would say Sauce Gardner in that top 5 of best defensive backs in the NFL right now. And he's in the prime of his career. It's going to help them out a lot. I think I still like the Colts in this game just because I don't know if the Falcons can stop Jonathan Taylor. Surprisingly enough, he did not get as many carries as I expected him to against Pittsburgh. I think they kind of wisen up and they feed JT a little.
Well, it's the same conversation on our side because, Bijan touched the ball 9 times, and that's inexcusable.
And that lost to the Dolphins.
Yeah, it's inexcusable if the best player, maybe arguably the best playmaker in the league, only touches the ball 9 times.
Now, other games specifically in the NFC South, Panthers are coming off of an upset win against the Packers, a thrilling upset win despite missing out on a point because of Rico Dowdle violating the pump rule. They have the Saints, who not trying to win football games right now. Somehow that game was only a 6.5-point spread. And I find that almost hard to believe because if I'm a bookmaker, I'm making that at least 2 touchdowns.
Because you think the Saints are worse.
They're horrific.
And this is to my point, going back to our other conversation, I said it off here. There's no world where Lenoris does not get drafted when Tyler Shaw is getting drafted. Right? I mean, that's so, like, when we look at the quarterback talent in the world, in the league, it's like, man, Tyler Shaw and Dylan Gabriel both got drafted. Though later, yes, I hear you. Anybody that's like, oh, they got drafted in the 5th round, I hear you.
I mean, they're going to have a top 3 pick. Maybe they mess around and accidentally win a game here and there. But if they do, I think they're in, like, Fernando Mendoza territory.
But has he risen? Has he elevated his, not draft stock, because obviously he's already been drafted, but he elevated his stock as far as being somebody that another team would want?
I think so, as a backup, right? I think he's proven himself to, like, be able to be in the league because I think somebody is going to say, hey, we have a better offensive line. We have a better cast of weapons.
We can develop you.
We can develop you a little bit more, right? And not have the pressure of you having to play and start, right?
Faro near Beckman Drive, still in progress. A few more accidents I do want you to be aware of. Kelly Mill Road near Bombing Range Road. 2-notch between I-20 and I-77, and Broad River Road at I-20, also a report of an accident. 76, mostly sunny today, 78 tomorrow, 79 on Sunday. Yep, we've talked about it. Monday, it's going to be kind of cold. 51 is going to be the actual high. Monday into Tuesday, that overnight low 30. So again, Monday and Tuesday going to be kind of brisk, but we'll get back to a little more normalcy middle of next week. But again, enjoy this weekend. Right now, starting off your morning, 49.
Right now, the early game, third and long hour. I'm Elijah Campbell. He's Preston Thorne. She's Jen Jensen. Our man Randy Young and our man Thomas running things in the video production studio. It's Football Friday, Preston Thorne.
And not only are we in denim, we're in stonewash denim.
If you're watching right now, you can see the matching that's going on right now. This is completely unintentional.
Hey, Randy.
Randy wearing denim pants. Mm-hmm. There's more denim per capita in this.
This is where you want to show up for your denim. You got it. We're here.
Yeah, we are here, and we are ready to break down some football. It's Football Friday, but not a Gamecock Football Friday. And of course, Lou Bajak's going to join us at 8:30. Brought to you by Paymore to talk some high school football because it's playoff time.
Great time of year for playoff high school football. The leaves start turning. When you start practicing, it turns night during practice time. Great time of year.
The grass is a different color.
Grass is a different color. It's awesome. Just think about the idea of, like, you start high school football and it's scorching, and then by the end of it, you are freezing. Yeah, it's really cool. So I'm looking forward to that.
So we'll have Lou on at 8:30 to discuss that. But there's a lot going on in college football, even without South Carolina playing. There's still a lot to look out for. Earlier in the show, I kind of gave my chaos outlook, right? Like, what does ultimate chaos this week in college football look like? We laid those out, and some of the games that are on there we'll talk about right now. But the one I want to lean with, because if you're an SEC fan, obviously this game every year is something you mark on your calendar. But LSU, Alabama, the game's in Tuscaloosa this year, so that changes things maybe a little bit. But LSU, first game with Brian Kelly not coaching this team. We are true, firm believers here on the early game that the new coach bump after the old guy that nobody liked left is a real thing.
It's a big key. It has to be the coach that nobody likes, because there's coaches that get fired that everybody, like Billy Napier, right? By and large, the players were like, oh,
I think
man,
players liked him.
it's my guy.
Yeah.
It didn't work. But when the jerk gets fired, there's an air. I believe the air is a lot lighter in that building.
Yes, the air is a whole lot lighter in that building, and that oftentimes ends up playing into your favor, right? A little more motivated. But do we really think LSU has a chance to do this thing? From a football standpoint, how much can that offense actually get fixed? Because some of the discussions they were having in Baton Rouge were kind of similar to the discussions we're having here. Quarterback returning that you expected to be one of not just the best in the SEC, but best in the country, underperforming. Offensive line struggles. Now they had to replace 2 tackles that are playing on Sundays. Now one who is, I firmly believe, in Will Campbell, a future All-Pro. But they have not filled those positions well at all. And a defense that has won them some of their games. How much that can realistically change for LSU going into Bryant-Denny Stadium?
Well, they have different ingredients. It might be able to change, man. I'm saying it as a joke, but I'm not joking, though. You know what I'm saying?
You're not kidding.
I'm not playing. That dude not being there for that team, it may provide a sense of freedom in the way they play. might provide a sense of joy for the coaching staff and everybody that's around. There might be something there. I don't think they're better than Alabama, but there may be a sense where they play above what they've been playing just because that overlooker, that ceiling is not on top of them. That was Brian Kelly.
So maybe they can play more free because there maybe is a feeling of just not having anything left to lose, right? This is a team that going into the year had legitimate, because based on the talent they had on that roster, what they did in the transfer portal, what their recruiting rankings look like every year, LSU is a team that on paper built to play in Atlanta on the first Saturday in December. They were built to hear their name called when those college football playoff rankings were released. They were built like a team that had real national title aspirations. Hasn't worked out that way. Maybe just like the losing of that pressure that might be put on them by the head coach does have a legitimate merit into them maybe pulling off this win.
Also, Ty Simpson threw a gut punch to all you olds out there because he was referring to this game, and he said, Alabama versus LSU goes back to since we were kids, the game of the century, the 2019 game.
Oh, my God.
All of those old players. This is just one of those great games.
All of those old players, buddy. Buddy. Now,
back to when we were kids in 2019.
I mean, that does track. I was in high school for the game of the century.
Game of the century.
I was a junior in high school. Fun story about that game. If you want to talk about how much of a college football sicko I've always been, I was asked by a girl in high school to go to the Sadie Hawkins dance with her.
Nerd!
And I made up an excuse to not go so I could watch Alabama LSU.
What a nerd!
Oh, buddy. And you know what?
It's all right. It got you here today, Elijah.
It got me here today.
They say you got to sacrifice.
I'd do it again. I'd do it again. Sorry, Ashton Rogers, you're a real one. It worked well for both of us.
It's all good.
Oh man, but I did. I was like, that was what, number 1 versus number 2. I was like, I can't miss that.
Come on, man. Sadie Hawkins, dog, that doesn't happen often. That's like your one time to shine. And you took that opportunity when we don't ever get to be like, I got to watch football.
And here's the thing. I wasn't hosting a sports talk radio show at the time. It wasn't that I had to. I really wanted to. But I did.
I like it.
I watched a field goal fest. I did not watch a single touchdown that night.
And you loved it.
But it was a great game.
Yeah, feel you.
Oh, it was a phenomenal game.
I like your style, kid.
And I definitely was hate watching Alabama for that. And I got to watch LSU win that one. So that definitely at least satisfied that one. Do we get that level of great game? I hope so. I don't think so. I still think probably Alabama wins by about 10 points. I think LSU kind of hangs around and is frisky, but maybe not in contention to actually win it. BYU Texas Tech being the game of the week. If you first looked at the schedule at the beginning of the season in the summer, let's just say like in late July, you're flipping through your Phil Steele and you're like, okay, wow, November 8th, a lot of fun games, but you wouldn't have pegged BYU and Texas Tech to be the game, the top 10 showdown. How intrigued are you by this matchup? And I would say, if anything, be intrigued to watch BYU because their quarterback wears number 47.
Yeah, that's really strange. I'm very intrigued by this matchup because I think it's an old guard versus a new guard type of thing. BYU being the traditional power in the conference. I like the head coach. If you know anything about my college football preferences, you know that dude fits right in the mold of what I like. But Texas Tech is new. They're up and coming. They're figuring out a new way. They've decided that they want to be good, and they've put their money where their mouths are, and that's I have appreciation for that. So I am watching this game, and I will be paying attention.
Would also be a great basketball game. Those two teams on the hardwood are so good. That'd be a fantastic basketball game. Maybe a better basketball game than a football game. But this one has legitimate college football playoff implications because clearly both of them in the top 12, both of them projected to be in the college football playoff if we were to end this season today. But Texas Tech does have one loss in Big 12 play. BYU does not have a loss, whether it be Big 12 play or non-conference play. This could be the ultimate shakeup for the Big 12 championship game outlook because then we have a 3-way tie for first, and then tiebreakers would have to kick in because Cincinnati lurking, I guess maybe the best way to say it, just kind of like hovering around with only one loss, and that loss, I believe, was to Texas Tech. Or it was to Utah. Just kidding, it was to Utah this past week. Utah bludgeoned them. But you have a lot of teams in the Big 12 that are pretty good. If you like chaos, we've been trying to tell you all season, the Big 12 is your league. But this game on Saturday at noon Eastern time in Lubbock has potential.
Perfect viewing window for your boy too.
Oh yes,
I'll be on that.
Yeah, I have a feeling like once you become a parent, the noon window becomes like your ideal football watching window right there. And one benefit of this weekend with no South Carolina playing is you can maybe get a head start on looking at your next opponent. Texas A&M is going to be at Missouri. This game would have been a whole lot more fun if it wasn't for the unfortunate injury to Beau Pribula against Vanderbilt. So Missouri is on the third-string quarterback. But I'll steal a term the kids are using. Are you holding space for a Missouri upset? Don't ask me what that means. I know how it's used. I don't exactly know what it means, but I'm wearing a denim jacket. I'm trying to be hip.
I can help you with this.
Okay.
We held space for Tiger James earlier to voice his complaints because we take everybody's conversation in, and if you have a complaint about your team, we will hold space for you here on the early game to voice your complaints.
Okay.
That being said,
I'm learning.
That being said, I am intrigued because I don't know why, man. I don't know what I've been doing all year, but I haven't sat down and watched Texas A&M play all year. I said I was going to do it 2 weeks ago, didn't do it.
And that's your team.
I like that guy. I like everything about him. Have not watched him. This is the week. I feel like I need to get it done so I can have an idea of what buzzsaw we're leading into next week.
Because one reason why I've kind of zeroed in on this team to be the Preston Thorn, if we did that whole exercise we did in the offseason with the NFL, we applied it to college, I think Texas A&M would have been the team that you fall into in terms of bandwagoning a team. They dominate both lines of scrimmage. They have one of the best offensive lines in college football, legitimate Joe Moore Award type offensive line. They have a defensive line that constantly gets the quarterback, that stops the other team's run game. They have a good group of linebackers. Torian York is one of my favorite linebackers to watch. He's incredibly rangy. He's good in coverage. It's a bona fide playmaker. And then they have a shutdown corner on the outside, Will Lee. They call him the blanket for a reason because he covers wide receivers one-on-one about as well as anybody in college football. And then offensively, they have a dude at quarterback who also runs the ball really well and is not afraid to uncork one downfield.
He runs the ball well, and they're not afraid to run him.
No.
Either.
No. I bet Colin Klein, when he realized that they were going to roll with Marcel Reed the rest of the year last year, whenever Connor Wegman went down for a little bit, and when Wegman got healthy, kind of like the similar Austin Simmons type situation that Ole Miss is going through this year, he realized, oh, you're going to give me this demon who can run the ball a little bit.
I mean, he just probably dusted off some of the stuff that he used to do.
At Kansas State, because Colin Klein, dual threat quarterback, and actually a better runner than he was a passer.
Sneaky athletic.
Oh, yes. Oh, he falls into that sneaky athletic type deal. I forgot who it was, and I'm so mad at myself because I meant to text you. I was watching like NFL Live or something like that, or it was an NBA pregame show, and somebody described a player as sneaky athletic, and I think you already know the prototype, right? Like you know about what makes him sneaky athletic.
He can't just be athletic.
He can't be athletic. He's sneaky athletic. That's if there's a trope that I can buy into as my favorite, it's that the sneaky athletic type quarterback or basketball player.
Nothing sneaky about a dude that runs a 4.4. That's athletic.
Yes. People watch Mac McClung in a dunk contest and like, that guy is sneaky athletic. And I'm like, what makes you think it's sneaky athleticism? The guy can jump over like a 7-footer. I think he's just athletic, right? I think we can kill that.
No qualifier needed.
Oh, man. And you know what? I am bummed out about one thing. There is one game on the slate that I was really looking forward to at the beginning of the year. Not because I thought it'd be a really good game, because I'm here for the story. Diego Pavia has beaten the hell out of Hugh Freeze everywhere he's gone. He beat Hugh Freeze when he was at New Mexico State, at Auburn. And then last year at Auburn, Vanderbilt goes there and wins an ugly game. I was like, can Diego Pavia make it 3 for 3 against Hugh Freeze at Auburn? And we didn't get that.
Did not get that because unfortunately Hugh Freeze will not be there. He will not be in attendance this Saturday.
Nope.
Is this a game where the jerk coach bounce propels Auburn over a Vandy team who's been good? But are they getting away with it?
There have been some elements of getting away with it. There have been. We're gonna put the getting away with it element to the stress test here. Now, if they win by like 3 scores, okay, yeah, they're exactly who we thought they were. Like, good football team.
This game is in Auburn or at Vandy?
This is at Vandy.
Okay.
So this is in Nashville.
All right. I was just saying there's a scenario where Auburn gets up early at home and kind of just plays the momentum and the crowd pulls them along. But maybe that doesn't happen at Vandy.
And because Vanderbilt's actually really good now, they have a little bit of a home field advantage. Like, the fans have been showing up.
Right.
They've been coming out of the woodworks. All the people that moved to Nashville from other states have turned into Vanderbilt fans. That's the Diego Pavia effect. So those are the games on the college football slate that we're interested in from a matchup standpoint. But with the biggest news of the week being Mike Shula being fired as the offensive coordinator at South Carolina, we are in coach search mode. So what games do you need to watch this weekend?
Okay.
Hey, it's Jen for CHW Cabinetry in Lexington. They're a women-owned business, locally owned business right in Lexington, and did fabulous work for us. And we had to totally demolish our kitchen. We had an opportunity to have them help us get everything figured back out. They were able to help us lay out the kitchen, what it needed to look like, figure out some accessories that might be kind of nice to add, something different. But to use CHW Cabinetry, you don't have to redo your entire kitchen. We ended up updating a couple of bathrooms, so we needed a cabinet for each of those. They were fantastic yet again. And if you want to do something like that, do something to update your pantry. Put some drawers in there. That's always huge. Get rid of the wire hanging racks. If you have home office space that you want to maybe create, they can help you with so many different things. Visit them at chwcabinetry.com or call them at 803-520-6837. Tell them Jen sent you. CHW Cabinetry in Lexington, passion from inspiration to installation. Still getting things cleaned up there. Columbia Highway near Jake Knott's Bridge. Farrow Road near Beckman Drive. Still working that earlier accident. 2 others to make you aware of. Park Lane Road at 277. And Two Notch Road right there between I-20 and I-77. We are looking for a high today of 76, 78 tomorrow, 79 on Sunday. So a gorgeous weekend ahead, and it's pretty right now. It's sunny, and looking at 49 currently on the early game.
Now, I'm a big fan of going lower and getting somebody that's ahead of the curve.
I do.
Brennan Marion is a name that I am intrigued by. Now, whether or not you can get him to go cross country to South Carolina is a big thing, but we're having fun here, right? This is a fun exercise. Something like what Brennan Marion does at Sacramento State as the head coach with the go-go offense. Fun to watch to see if that's something that you would like to see South Carolina run. He's the head coach at Sacramento State. They're at Portland State this week. Would you be intrigued? I think that might be an ESPN Plus game.
That's definitely on the ESPN Plus.
ESPN Plus, where you can get all of your FCS football.
If you got
action.
ESPN Plus, you might be able to find that one. Okay.
Now, some that might be a little more of a reach, right? Because they would be bigger names. We talked about Kendall Briles earlier. David Cloninger from the Post and Courier did mention that there is that TCU connection with Jeremiah Donati. Well, he's still the offensive coordinator over at TCU right now. They're hosting Iowa State, 3:30 on Fox.
That might be one to check out. That might be one to look at, especially if you're thinking coaching search also, because Matt Campbell's name is eternally in the search. Right? So there's always something there for that. So that might be a reason you would check that out.
And Matt Campbell might have reached his ceiling
I do
at Iowa State. I think he's stuck it out for a while. He's been like a name in the coaching search for a few of the last cycles, right? And he's turned them down. He's turned down some jobs. He stayed at Iowa State. They were a game away from the college football playoff last year. Got bludgeoned by Arizona State in that Big 12 title game. But this year, been really disappointing. After that thrilling win over Kansas State in Dublin to start the season, they're 5-4 right now. And if TCU beats them, they're sitting at 5-5. And that's a team that they thought had a legitimate chance at the beginning of the year. I thought had a legitimate chance at the beginning of the year to win the Big 12. That has not really come to fruition at all. But they're at TCU. TCU 6-2 on the year. An offense that's putting up a lot of production. Josh Hoover at quarterback, 2,371 yards, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Something to watch for. A name that I didn't really think about until Terry came in here and was talking with us about it. And this would be, again, one you would have a hurdle with trying to get him out of his current spot. But Mac Leftwich, the current offensive coordinator at Texas Tech. Now, I think Terry told us he's making about, $1 million right now? You would have to fork over some money to get him here. You're not getting him at a discount. And if Texas Tech really wants to, they probably can raise the funds to keep him, right? But Texas Tech has a really good offense. A borderline quarterback-proof offense right now because Baron Morton in one of their biggest games of the year at Utah got hurt early, was in concussion protocol. Will Hammond comes in as a backup. They end up winning that game on the road against Utah, a really good football team, and winning it convincingly. They didn't just win that game. They won by a lot. Well, now, Will Hammond did get some more run after that. He is now hurt. He is out for the year, so it's Baron Morton time for the rest of the season for Texas Tech. But that offense, I am awfully intrigued with. We do have bye week blues, though, because there are a couple of guys on my list that you will not be able to see.
Oh, no.
Yeah, for those who suggested maybe Jordan Davis, the offensive coordinator at North Texas, they're on a bye week. Kevin Decker, who I was like, oh, I wonder who Old Dominion plays this weekend. I really want to see. I want to carve out time, hold space, if you will, to watch a Kevin Decker offense.
Not how you use that.
No! No!
Keep going. Keep trying.
Oh, we're going to keep trying, though. We're volume shooters here, right? I'm like Dion Waiters. I'd rather be 0 for 9 than 0 for 2 because 0 for 2 means you quit trying. I'm not going to quit trying. But Kevin Decker at Old Dominion, they're on a bye.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's very unfortunate.
I mean, that's why you have YouTube, though. There's clips.
There's clips.
There's a lot of clips you can go check out their offense and say, I'm looking at Mac Leftwich now. Intriguing. Young, quarterback heavy. In its emphasis, runs a specifically college-style offense. Has done it at several different levels. Was at Texas State, I believe, before he was at Texas Tech. So he might have a Texas thing going for him. Again, we're open to ideas. And this is why because we're on a bye week this week, just look around and just see what you like. You know, see whether you like some plays that you like or some styles that you like, or you see a ticker go across where some team is putting up a bunch of points. Turn to the game.
Watch the offense. See who's calling the plays. See what you see if it's something you like on the field aesthetically, because that's a big part of this too. We'll go to the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Brian is on the line. I want to talk about this coaching search. So, Brian, we'll ask your thoughts. A, welcome to the early game. And B, are there any teams you're watching this weekend with hopes of maybe getting a little bit of a feel for their offensive coordinator?
No, and sitting here listening to y'all, it kind of enforces what I'm in the process of doing, because I've been around this program since the 70s. Okay, I've had to hear all the myths about our board won't allow the staff to do this. All these coaching changes from head coaches to staff members underneath that coach. And the one thing that points out is, what's our identity? What's our identity as a football program the last 20 years? Clemson's known for speed. Oklahoma running, and I know these things change sometimes depending on coach, but we can have two different styles of offense under the same head coach depending on what coach we bring in. So there's a disconnect. There's something. What is it? And I'll ask y'all from what experience you have, of course, an ex-player and all that, and being around. We've done the big names, Spurrier, Holtz. We've done the top offensive coordinator in the country, Brad Scott, at one time, that everybody thought was God, and then he didn't do anything. We've tried all that. What is it? What is it with Columbia? There's got to be something. How can a team like Indiana bring a coach in and do what they do? And I think we're in a different position because we're in the SEC, and we rank in the top 20 in so many things, apparently in NIL now. Facilities, all this stuff. But we only seem to be able to put together a really good program every 4 or 5 years or so, sometimes longer. So these coaches that we bring in, is there a disconnect with players? You see all these head coaches that have been fired, and all the players say, oh, we love them, we love them, we love them. And we wanted to play for him, but the scheme didn't work. There's something wrong,
here, Brian. So we'll go ahead and appreciate the call as always, but I want to give Preston some time to answer that.
Yeah, I think you're hitting on a huge point, Brian, about identity. Unfortunately, Shane wanted the identity of the offense to be a pro-style offense. That did not work, so we're 0 for 3 in that. And so now we are here. We have not had a distinct identity as a program, as an institution, and I do think that might lead to some of our issues. So I don't think you're off in that. That doesn't mean there's ever not a chance to start one, because even with Clemson, yes, they had an identity about being fast, but they had to change their identity when they wanted to win championships.
High school football playoffs start tonight. Our man Lou Bezak from the state joins us next to break the first round of the playoffs down here on the early game.
Hey, it's Jen for CHW Cabinetry and also for Carolina Stone Craftsman. Carolina Stone Craftsman doing so much stuff for us in our house and helping us with getting some countertops to put on the cabinetry that we had recently purchased. And they did a fantastic job. They understand kitchen and bath projects can be a significant investment. They work to deliver the highest quality, the most affordable granite, marble, and quartz while still providing the absolute best customer service. It's absolutely simple. It's great countertops with no compromises. If you're in the market for countertops for your kitchen or bath, or even some hardscape work in your yard, reach out to Carolina Stone Craftsman. Tell them Jen Jensen sent you. They're family owned and operated, and they are just beyond Columbia in Chapin, beyond your expectations. I can absolutely assure you. You can visit them online, carolinastonecraftsman.com. Clemson Road near Two Notch Road. If you're in that area, probably going to might be slowed down a little bit by an accident. Also, Columbia Highway near Jake Knott's Bridge. Park Lane at Highway 277, and still working Two Notch Road between I-20 and I-77. As we've been saying all morning, 76 today, 78 tomorrow, 79 on Sunday. And after that, a little bit different. Monday morning's going to be pretty chilly. Monday and Tuesday, actually, highs of only 51, so soak it all in this weekend. It's 49 with some sunshine currently on the early game.
Gonna channel my inner Jim Mora here. Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs? Well, we are going to talk about playoffs, Jim, because it's the first week of the high school football playoffs here in South Carolina. And joining us now to break it all down is our pal Lou Bezjak from the State Newspaper. And as always, our high school sports segment sponsored by Paymore. Need fast cash? Paymore is Columbia's go-to spot for fast cash on your tech. Visit them in Harbison and Sandhills today. Lou, we have a full slate of playoff games. We have brackets out. And before we get into any of the specific games, I want to kind of pick your brain on the bracket that has intrigued you the most, not just for this week's games, but as we go on throughout this playoff run, the one that presents the most intrigue and potential great matchups to you is?
5A Division II Upper State.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, you got you look at that. You got Northwestern, T.L. Hanna, Greenwood. You throw in a bunch of those teams. I think it has the potential to be a pretty fun bracket, and as they look to punch their ticket to go to Orangeburg.
Yeah, friend of the show, of the Paymore High School Football Scoreboard show, our buddy Bill in Greenwood texted me the morning that the bracket was released, and he's with the Greenwood program, and he's talking about like their path, and I was like, well, that wasn't exactly the draw that you hoped for, because that is absolutely brutal. That is a really good football team that is going to have to go through a gauntlet if they want to play in Orangeburg.
Yes, definitely. You look at Greenwood, you throw in Gaffney. There's other probably Greenville too, which just lost that heartbreaker to T.L. Hanna last week. I mean, I think compared to the lower state in 5A Division II, it's kind of night and day. When it's Irmo, Berkeley, and maybe throw in White Knoll as the three teams to watch out for in the lower state bracket.
Now, Lou, I have a little for the first week of the playoffs every year, it's always kind of like a mixed emotion thing. I'm excited that we're getting to the playoffs, but the first week sometimes can lack drama because we do have a lot of teams that just make the playoffs, and by the way, just natural seedings work, we can get a lot of running clock games. But I want to look at a few that might be a little more interesting. And first one I'm looking at, Eau Claire at Batesburg-Leesville. What do you expect from this game? Eau Claire breaking out 5 wins this year. Amadre Wooden at Batesburg-Leesville has been one of my favorite players to watch in the entire state. How much intrigue do you have with that game?
Yeah, it does. It's a great season that Coach Simons has had at Eau Claire. 5 wins, I think, first time since the 90s. I'm not sure when I was looking this week, I'm not sure when's the last time they've won a playoff game. I think it maybe before that or maybe that year. So it's been a while, but it's a great run for them. And you got Batesburg. You got a little bit of drama tonight because the Madre Wooden could go over 2,000 yards rushing for the second straight year. So you got that, and another player on that team, Katie Witt, is really good. He came up with the big stop last week in overtime for the win. So, yeah, I think Batesburg has a chance to make a little run here, and this would be a good start for them, yeah. So we'll see. Good story for Eau Claire, and great team and running back in Wooden as he begins the final chapter of his career in the playoffs.
And one local team hosting a playoff game tonight. River Bluff finishing at 5-5. Perry Parks in his first year over at the Bluff has them hosting a playoff game. They have Cane Bay coming into town tonight. And you wrote that it's the first meeting between the two teams, so I love a little bit of history. But what are you expecting from River Bluff in this playoff game? What are kind of a realistic expectation as to what they can do here in the playoffs?
Yeah, I definitely think they should win this matchup. Probably give it a lot to Hayden Myers. Myers had 300 yards rushing last week against Lexington. They brought in freshman quarterback Davis Taylor. He's been playing pretty decent, and then they got a good weapon in Darius Carter at receiver and defensive back. So pretty good year to lay the foundation, to improve on the foundation that Coach Harden had sent for Coach Parks there. So I think a playoff win, and maybe you never know what happens, and they'll have to hit the road next week. But yeah, I think it's been a pretty decent, solid season, I think, for Coach Parks, and as he continues to grow that program.
Now, once we get into playoff season 2, hard to win these games on the road. There are a few teams that are playing on the road tonight that I'm awfully intrigued with, and I know you're intrigued with as well, but I want to give you 3 road teams, and you're going to tell me the team with the best chance to win? Is it Blythewood at Clover, Lexington at Fort Dorchester, or Lower Richland at Bishop England?
Oh, wow. That's 3 good ones. Ooh, we ranking them in order?
Ooh, let's do it in order, yes. Oh, you read my mind, Lou Bezak.
Okay. I'm going to go Lexington over Fort Dort. Lexington 1, Lower Richland 2, Blythewood 3. But I could see all 3 winning for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really good matchups. Those 7-10, 8-9 matchups. I mean, Fort Dorchester is not the Fort Dorchester of the Carry-On Joiner or the past, for sure. And I know Lexington's had their struggles this year, but they're still a good football team, and Stuart Young knows how to win in the playoffs. I think Lower Richland, their speed and their speed could really give Bishop England some problems, who started out strong but kind of struggled down the stretch. And I think Blythewood, I think this is a coin flip game too. Where they could run the ball. James Veazey has played better at quarterback, and I think they could give Perry Woolbright's team definitely a scare, and if not, pull out the win tonight on the road.
Lou Bezak from the State Newspaper is on the line with us right now, brought to you by Paymore. And Lou, last one for you. I'm so intrigued with AC Flora. I think they should win tonight against York at home. They're 9-1 on the year. I love watching them play because I love high-octane passing offenses, and AC Flora definitely fits that mold. But what kind of chance do you give AC Flora to be able to make an incredibly deep run? Can we possibly see them within a game or playing in Orangeburg at the end of the season?
I think we'll know that in 2 weeks, because I think they win tonight. I think they win next. They'll have to go on the road and next week. But I think, or do they go? I don't have the bracket in front of me.
There's
but
a lot of brackets.
The third round matchup against South Point is the one. I mean, it's a rematch. I think they thought they didn't play their best. They got out to a lead against South Point, and I think that's the one to look for. If they can get by that, then I think they have a really good shot. We mentioned their offense, about what they were able to do to finish things off last week against Camden. They ran the ball. They ran behind that offensive line. Jalen Simmons has gotten better as the season's gone along as their number one back. But those four weapons at receiver, Batet, Charlie Scott, Josh Davis, and Kendall Bird are pretty special, and you got a senior quarterback in Roper Wensky, and their defense is good. Nasir Walker and Peyton Bishop on that defensive line are really cause problems for teams' offensive line, especially coming off the edge. So, yeah, I think they definitely have the pieces to make a run. South Point is if they can get, I don't know, we'll see. South Point's really good, especially after they put Kearns at quarterback. He's really the best athlete, and he does great things throwing and running and on defense as well.
Yeah, I've described that South Point team as a wagon. I think they have achieved wagon status this year. Not one that I'd want to step in front of by any means. But before we get you out of here, Lou, I tabbed your Steelers game against the Chargers on Sunday night as a gotta have it. Do you share the gotta have it sentiment?
Yeah, I think so. Because they took a good step last week and beating the Colts, and now to go on the road, and there's going to be a ton of Steeler fans out there in Los Angeles, and they've had a love-hate relate out there. They've played well at times against Chargers there, and they also blew one there. So, yeah, I think they need to respond and pick up a win, because I think they got Chicago next week, and then you got Baltimore, 2 games with Baltimore down the road. So, yeah, I think any win, they got to keep going, because Baltimore is going to pick up steam, and any win, especially on the road, and a conference game for tiebreaker purposes down the road is big.
Good stuff there from Lou Bezak, always a winner. We'll give you our winners of today's show coming up next.
Winners. Winners.
Oh, we have some fun winners for today's show, brought to you by the Golden Spur. And I don't know if we have a more golden of winner, a chicken dinner-esque winner, than the concept of sneaky athleticism. The funniest trope in sports. Sneaky athleticism. And specifically on the Firehouse Subs text line, Albert says two of the sneakiest athletic quarterbacks, but sneaky in quotation marks, as you should.
As you should.
The sneakiest athletic quarterbacks in SEC history who deserve respect as straight-up athletes are Connor Shaw and Arkansas's Matt Jones. And for my money, they may be the two most underrated quarterbacks in SEC history. Agreed. We know how good Connor Shaw was here. Matt Jones could ball
Matt
for those
Jones,
Arkansas teams.
6'6", 4'3".
Sneaky athletic.
He's not sneaking up on anybody. Everybody knows that dude's an athlete.
Yeah,
210 pounds.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is he an athlete? I don't know.
I don't know. The guy that runs like the wind with a strong arm is 6'6" and is built like an NFL tight end. I don't know. He might be athletic. He just doesn't look like an athlete. For some reason, there's something about him that makes me think he's not an athlete. I wonder. Windhorst fingers involved here. Wonder why that might be.
That is an awesome concept, awesome trope. One thing we will hear over time. I'm gonna go to winners bye week, because that means we just get to watch football in peace this weekend. We do not have to worry about. We don't have to worry about inside zones for 3 plays in a row. We don't have to worry about special teams blunders. We can just watch other teams do that. And we can laugh, or we can get upset on behalf of another fan base. But for us, Gamecock fans, stress-free football weekend.
Which, as a fan, I've always kind of loved those. Even if my team's playing really well, I don't have to worry about them sneaking up and losing a game, right? I've always loved it because it's stress-free football. And then when chaos happens to somebody else, you can revel in it a little bit. You can actually enjoy it as a fan of the sport, right? Like when I was really young, obviously games used to affect me a whole lot more. But on those weekends where I got to just enjoy it as a fan of the sport, it was awesome. And this week, one of those weeks where you just get to sit down and enjoy a lot of really good games. I think Iowa-Oregon's going to be a lot of fun. I think LSU-Alabama has the potential to be frisky, maybe a little fun. That rivalry always has a little something for everybody every year.
I'm going to put a future on it. The post-jerk getting fired bump. Watch out in LSU.
We have 2 of those games because Auburn's at Vanderbilt too.
Watch out for it.
And right now, we already have 1 win in that regard, because Trent Dilfer fit that mold perfectly, and Alex Mortensen led them to a 22-point upset, or as 22-point underdogs. They didn't win by 22, but they were 22-point underdogs, upset against Memphis. So
watch out.
We're tracking this. We're tracking this storm. It's already hit landfall somewhere else in Memphis. It's funny. It went to the middle of the southeast, and now it might be going down to Alabama. It's unpredictable in where this thing goes. So we're keeping an eye on it. Just keeping an eye on that as the thing. Another winner for today's show, the stretch and catch offense, invented by one Preston Thorne.
It's right here. More Mo Brown. More Mo Brown. You see the stretch and catch right there? It's patented, patent pending. You're going to run it. Mo Brown at tight end, Mo Brown at H-back, Mo Brown at fullback, Mo Brown at tailback. We will put Mo Brown on 70 plays per game. The key to this offense will be stopping Mo Brown. Not the NFL talent, not the quarterback, but if you can find – I'll give you the scouting report, DCs. Find Mo Brown, you'll find the ball.
You'll find the ball. We're going to get Mo Brown the football. Mo Brown. That is an easy winner for today's show. The stretch and catch offense again.
Stretch and catch.
Patent pending.
Yes, patent pending. Because when we run it up with this offense, we will see how that goes. Also, winners for this week, staying in my theme of bye weeks. Coordinator watching, coordinator guide. Watch some offense this week. Find some players that you like. Find some players that you like. Find a quarterback that you like. Who knows? We might be in that market too.
Hey, when Team Crush Tuesday rolls around, I think we're going to make some of those offensive coordinator based, because everybody loves suggestions. We did have Quarter on the Firehouse Subs text line, says Tim Cramsey with Memphis. They play tonight.
I will check it out.
in a college football playoff eliminator.
I'm on it. Appreciate the suggestion.
That's a game with some stakes. So we got to see what our man has in his bag for that game against Tulane. And you know what? My last winner, college basketball, because we have some games this weekend. Arkansas at Michigan State Saturday night. Alabama at St. John's in the Garden at noon on Saturday. And tonight, 2 Blue Bloods, Kansas at North Carolina. We'll see if North Carolina's any good. We'll see how good Kansas is. Fan of the sport, we finally have some really, really, really good matchups to look forward to.
Kentucky dude that dunk, one hand,
College
windmill,
handler,
sneaky
athletic. We'll sneak our way out of here. Tyler Head and Jack Velcher, the extra point, is next.